Hi everyone, this is Stella and welcome to Stella Music Theory. Today we are going to go over some exercises from Chapter 1 in the Grade 1 Discovering Music Theory workbook. Let's get started. Today we're going to start with bars and meter, which is on page 3 of the Grade 1 workbook. Bars and meter. Rhythm is the arrangement of notes of different time values over a pulse. The pulse is organized into bars containing a certain number of counts or beats. So counts and beats, they are the same thing. This organization is called meter. If you have forgotten what rhythm or what pulse is, you can go back to my previous video on the basics. We use bar lines to make it easy to see where each bar starts and ends. If we look at the box here, this vertical line is a bar line. And at the end of the music, you see that there are two vertical lines. We call it double bar line because there are two bar lines. Double bar line indicates the end of the music or the end of a section. In between the bar lines, we have bar. And since this is the beginning of the music, so from the beginning to the first bar line, we're going to use a bracket to indicate that space, and it's called a bar. So this is one bar. Then from the first bar line to the next bar line, we have another bar. So there's another bar here, and there are two bars here altogether. At grade 1, we will explore bars containing 2, 3, or 4 beats. Let's turn to page 4. Smart tip. The following rhythms are made up of bars containing 2, 3, or 4 beats. So let's go over exercise 4 together. Mark the beats in the following rhythms by adding numbers. Question A. We first going to find where the bar lines are. So we see that there's a bar line here. I'm going to indicate it with an arrow. There is a bar line here. There's a bar line here. And there's a double bar line here. So when we write the counts or the beats of the music, we are going to start with 1. So each crotchet would be 1 beat. So you can keep that in mind. Every crotchet would be 1 beat. And when we count, we always start with 1. So this crotchet, which is the first crotchet, would be beat number 1. Then next we have 2 quavers that are joined together or beamed together, which is the value of 1 crotchet. So this would be beat number 2. Then we see the bar line. When we see the bar line, we have to stop counting. So we count 1, 2. We see the bar line, we have to stop. After the bar line, we have to start with 1 again. So this crotchet here will be 1. So we're going to write 1 here. Then we see another crotchet here. This will then be number 2, or count number 2, or beat number 2. Then we see our bar line again. And there are 2 quavers, which is the same as 1 crotchet. So this is beat 1. Usually we write the number or the count under the first note. So we will not write it in between the 2 quavers. We will write it under the first quaver. Then the crotchet here would be beat number 2. Again, we see the bar line. And in this bar, we see only 1 note, which is 1 minim. In a minim, there are 2 crotchets. So 1 crotchet, 2 crotchets. So we're going to write 1, 2. We're going to spread out the 1, 2 a little bit. So that's it for question A. Now you notice that if the first bar has 2 beats, so 1, 2 here, the rest of the bars would have the same number of beats. So here in this bar we have 2 beats. Next bar we should also have 2 beats. And same for this last bar. So they should all have 2 beats. Okay, so let's move on to question B. Here, we're going to start with number 1. So we count the first crotchet as beat 1. This will then be beat 2. This would be beat 3. Then there is the bar line. So we have to stop counting there. After the bar line, we have to start with 1 again. So this crotchet will be 1. These 2 quavers, it will be beat 2. This crotchet, it will be beat 3. Then bar line, so stop counting here. Start with 1 again. Here we have a minim. Now actually I can make it a little bit bigger, this bubble, because this actually indicates 2 crotchets, right? To make it clearer. So I can write beat 1 under the minim. Then beat 2 should be here. And this crotchet would then be beat number 3. And we see the double bar line at the end. Question C. Again, we see a crotchet at the beginning. That will be beat number 1. Then this is number 2. This is number 3. And this is number 4. Then we see a bar line, so we have to stop counting. After the bar line, we have 2 quavers, which is 1 crotchet. So this is beat 1. The crotchet here would be beat 2. Minim here would be beat 3 and 4. Bar line. Now after the bar line, there is only 1 note. This is a semi-brief. A semi-brief is worth 4 crotchets, so it lasts for the whole bar already. Alright, so it takes up the whole bar. 1, 2, 3, 4 crotchets. So we're going to write 1 number under each crotchet like that. Then double bar line. Question D. We start with 2 quavers this time. This is the same as 1 crotchet, so this is beat 1. Then this crotchet would be beat 2. Bar line, so we stop counting. After the bar line, there are 2 quavers, which is beat 1. Crotchet would be beat 2. Bar line. After the bar line, these 2 quavers, which is the crotchet, it will be 1. And another pair of quavers, it will be another crotchet here, so that's beat 2. Bar line. And in the last bar, there is a minim, which lasts for the whole bar, or the time of 2 crotchets. So we are going to write 1, 2. And we see a double bar line at the end. Next, we're going to look at the challenge together. Can you change the order of the notes in exercise 4B to create your own free bar rhythm? Write it down below, then see if you or your teacher can clap it while you count 1, 2, 3 to the beat. So we're going to refer to question 4B, which is this question here. So what we are going to do is to use the notes or the note values that are given. We're going to shuffle the notes around to create our own rhythm. If we look at 4B, we see that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 crotchets, a pair of quavers, and also 1 minim. So we can only use these notes here. Let's say I'm going to start with a crotchet. So I'm going to put a crotchet on top of beat 1. Now remember, crotchet is 1 beat. So I use 1 crotchet here. I'm going to use another crotchet. So I'm going to put another crotchet here. Then I'm going to use another crotchet here. So it will be the same as the first bar in 4B. Then let's do a crotchet here in beat 1 in the second bar. And I've decided to use a minim after that. Now a minim is worth 2 crotchets. So that will be 2 beats. So it will last for, if I put a minimum here, it will last for beat 2 to 3. And for the last bar, I only have the pair of quavers and 2 crotchets left. So I'm going to start with the pair of quavers here. That's beat 1. Then for beat 2, I'm just going to put in a crochet. And beat 3 would also be a crochet. So now we have a new rhythm that is different from 4-beat. This is the end of today's tutorial. If you like my video, do subscribe to my channel so you will be updated for any upcoming tutorials. See you next time!